test.
Alright, this one works. I don't know.
We always do live streams. They're all archived. The sound's kind of messed up though, we're still working on it. I'll talk to you about that. I want to do that. Hey, listen. Sorry, I need help. How do I turn? I don't know. Well, I need someone to help me so I can turn it on. Test. Nope, not working. I'm sorry, I don't know how to turn the mic on. Everything's weird, let me know you guys. Test. Lisa said that it should be on. She's calling someone. Sorry. Everyone's really late tonight though anyway.
There's no parking if you want to consider it.
We're figuring out why this mic won't work. We can grab that other stuff we can give it though.
That one's not working.
Yeah, because Lisa's calling Union right now.
Lisa's figuring it out though.
Yeah, very. Oh, I actually like one. Yeah, definitely. Test. Yep.
Okay, so this one's good.
That one's Connor.
Well, it should. This has nothing. This is just the audio. Yeah, it's a desk.
Test. Didn't it? Okay. Turning it.
Test 1 2. Yeah,
Very.
that's better.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Sorry we're getting started a little late, but we are going to get started with our guest speaker. So it is David Mucci, Lisa Kring, and I believe Rachel's back there from SUA, and they'll be talking about a little bit more about Memorial Union.
Weidman. And then here is the new Bird Union, and this is the integrated science building right here. So this building is 33,500 square feet. This building is 300,000 square feet. The building that you're in is about 250,000 square feet, to give you an idea of size. So, thank you. Oh, good. I think I may have bumped a cord down there. Any questions so far? Okay, cool. So, the next piece we need to talk about, so we have the Bird Union picture. The next thing the next piece, can everybody hear me okay with this? Okay. So this kind of gives you an idea of where we're at in terms of this building, what we need to do, what we've done to this point. So in the spring of 2013, the university started some master planning, and that involved one of the groups that involved quite a number of consultants. One of them was Clark Heisman Architects, and that'll be germane here in a minute. In fall of 13, our job was to sort of work in tandem with that and understand how this building played into the master plan. And there were all kinds of conversations that, do we move this entire building really to the central part of campus? And eventually the conclusion was no, we don't. We leave it here. So at that point, we engaged a group called Workshop Architects. And they engaged 52 focus groups, and we had about 145 campus leaders in the mix there. That involved a strategic planning session with our court board folks, and it involved some tours. We had some SUA participation in that, some Senate participation in that. The Senate leadership at the time went to, North Carolina State and the Wisconsin Union and some other places to sort of get some ideas of what we wanted this building to be. In fiscal year 15, we took what came out of that was, it ended up, at that point, it was about 40,000 square foot addition to this building, which was expansive, and it was about a $55 million project, which was, and at that point, we really hadn't done anything to address infrastructure, what the current building provided, so we felt like we really needed to do some more refinement on that. And so Clark Heisman, who had worked on the master plan effort, came to us and participated. They helped us refine the picture and really play into the context of the master plan. They took what Workshop Architects had done, the feedback we'd received, and refined it. So in spring of 16, we went to Senate through the fee review process, and they advised us. They said, this is great, we love this, but we are not in a position, we are not comfortable with passing this sort of fee without a student voice. So they advised us to go to a referendum. So here we are. This is the question of putting a vote, a yes or no vote, onto the ballot for April of 2017 is before you. So let's assume that you all support that. We need to kind of future cast this a little bit to let you know what would happen next. So in assuming the bill does pass this body, and then hopefully the students are in support of it, the intention would be immediately following that passage, we would begin the design process. And we expect that to take 12 to 18 months to complete. And that design process really needs to be an all-encompassing. We need everybody to put a voice to this, what this building needs to be. And so fall of 19, the fee and the construction would start. And then spring of 21, we assume an 18-month project, this building would be done. So that's kind of where we find ourselves. So, so the fee review folks said go to referendum, and we thought we better get a pretty good idea of where our student population would be if we did as much. And so we do a union survey every April, and we added some questions related to the referendum, trying to get an idea of what the critical needs are and what the support might be for such a fee. So we had nearly 2,000 responses, and the needs were identified as improved study, dining, activity spaces, and 75% seemed to be open to a possible fee, and there was really no information provided to bring that about. So we are somewhat positive that such a fee would pass. Okay, so the opportunities before us. So what this fee hopes to address You know, we have an opportunity here to provide some services and spaces that are, this building certainly has some programmatic issues. It also has some facility-based issues. So here's kind of what we might do. You know, we need to welcome and retain our students. We need everybody to feel welcome in this building. We need to, and one of the ways we can do that, we can articulate the connection between the Sabatini Multicultural Resource Center. It's very difficult. How many of you even know that you can walk to the Sabatini Multicultural Resource Center from the Union? Okay. And you guys are in Senate, so I'm glad to hear that, but there's an awful lot of people who have no idea that that sort of connection exists, so we need to open that up. We also need to showcase our Senate and our Silk offices. We have some renderings we can show you of conceptually what that might look like, but we need to open that, make that student involvement leadership experience more connected, more visible. And then we have a whole lot of daylighting opportunities that are unrealized in this building. We also need to improve the food service options, and for those of you who have been in the dining area at 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night, it is deathly quiet. So we have, 5,000 square feet of space that could be, if we did it properly, could be more engaging. And we certainly have heard the word that we need more student study space, student lounge space, and that's a perfect opportunity to do that. We need to restore the facilities. Right now, we have, I'll give you an example. The question has come to us on more than one occasion, what are you guys going to do about gender-neutral restrooms? Well, our challenge is we can't do single-stall restrooms in this facility because of code issues related to fixture count. So, you know, unless we undertake a fairly significant renovation, we can't add fixtures and we can't solve the single-use restroom. So we have some work to do there. The other things, this building, parts of it were built in 1926, and some of the same plumbing still exists. So we need to do things to restore the facilities behind the walls and make sure that we don't have service disruptions, operational disruptions, that the elevator works all the time, that it's always 72 degrees in the rooms. There's much to be done there. And then we need, for those of you guys who have been on level 5 during orientation, when Woodruff lets out, if there's 500 people in Woodruff, it's very difficult to get around on level 5. So there are some opportunities to open up that space and make it work more effectively. And then ultimately, the reason for taking on this project in a more holistic manner is that we have historically low interest rates right now. The savings and certainties of a comprehensive project are certainly there, and we avoid, for those of you guys who have been to buildings across campus that have been partially renovated, or in our case, K-State is a good example of a building that ultimately, the entire building is not going to be addressed in their most recent renovation, and it will feel like that. There's a lack of connection of the spaces. So we want to avoid that and learn from that. The project cost breakdown on this, right now, what we've done is essentially modeled this building and identified areas that are going to be more expensive to handle versus areas that will be less expensive to handle. So we sort of zoned the building and identified cost per square footage in those areas. So this is how these figures have come up on the architectural side. So we're looking at about $38.5 million in new construction, renovation, and remodel. Building infrastructure, the things, the plumbing and those sorts of things, that's about a $6.5 million piece. So total project cost $45 million. And what that would look like from a fee perspective is a $50 fee for 30 years. And it would be, it's time. We have not done a significant renovation in 32 years, so we are there. You know, as you guys think about, there's lots of competition for fee dollars, and we understand that. One of the things, as we look at this building and how it's used and how people experience this, we think about, gosh, I advanced that slide. Let's try that again. So if you think about the kinds of experiences you've had here, many of you probably attended a formal visit day as part of your decision to select a school. So you probably came here for a junior or senior day. And then you probably, assuming you said yes, which you did, You were here for orientation. And then you're here now in an involvement experience as part of the student governance of this institution. And hopefully, I'm hoping all of you will graduate, that you will be here for a recognition event to recognize your achievements. And then I hope that the experiences that you've had here will bring you back as an alum, and this is a place that will have meaning for you. So we hope to continue to tell that Jayhawk story. I'm going to with that.
Okay. I'm loud, so maybe I don't need this.
Maybe. Yeah, no, we're good. So as you can see here, these are a lot of the other schools close by and their project fee for a union renovation. And if they're in progress or when they were completed. The bolded ones are region schools. And as you can see here, this fee for a renovation would fall in the middle compared to a lot of these other schools. Especially when you know, like, the University of Kentucky and the University of Washington here, it's about half of what their renovation has cost in the past. So that's something really positive to know. And then here is our union fee compared to the other regions' union fees. We're currently the lowest fee for union, and to note here, we're the only school out of the 5 here that has 2 unions. And so for us to be able to keep it so low with operating 2 unions, I think this kind of speaks to our care for the students, how we want to keep it as low as possible. And if this referendum passed, we would still be on the lower middle end of the region schools union fees. So that's something else really positive to know going forward. And I think that the referendum is something that would be really beneficial to all of our students. And I think, as all of us users of the union, that's something that we can see. And if you all want to be involved in the process, we're more than open to taking anybody who wants to participate. So with that, I think we're done. Open for questions. So, yeah.
Are there any questions, Sophie?
How much estimated percentage-wise, I'm not sure, of the new building renovations would be funded by students? Well, in this equation, the entire construction project is a fee. So what would not be funded by students would be the ongoing operating costs. So, and more than likely, what we would probably do to make the picture work is that we're going to be in a design process. You're going to have to make decisions about, this is not going to make it. So we would probably we may fund all the furniture out of internal funds to make it so you can do a particular piece of the project. So, but the $50 fee really funds all the construction cost of the project. Yeah.
Yeah. Katie?
Is the student fee the only way to get it funded? Well, endowment dollars have been pursued. That conversation's happened. The message we've gotten from endowment is there may be distinct small projects that would be possible funding mechanisms for, but not substantially.
Sophie, did you have another question?
No.
Timon?
That's right. It is a $50 fee. That's the fee calculation. It's a $45 million project, and we funded it for 30 years. It's a $50 fee. Yeah.
Jonathan?
Chancellor?
Oh,
I'm
sorry, Jonathan first.
Jonathan.
Other than the enrollment and calculations or utilizing?
No, I think that's a good question, and it's probably the one we need answered. I can tell you this, we see about 1.9 million visitors a year, so we see the highest people count out of any of the facilities on campus, but I couldn't tell you at this point how much of that is students versus faculty, staff, community.
Chancellor?
But one thing to come back to that, one of the things I suppose is however the vote turns out, I suppose that's the biggest voice. If people feel vested and want to invest in the union, the referendum allows them to make that investment or to not. So,
Chancellor.
yeah.
Would it be possible to lower the fee, but extend the time that paying that fee? If I'm correct, the third year is $50.
Right.
So maybe
I don't, well, no, I think it's a good question, James. Off the top of my head, I don't know. We don't generally see those kinds of capital projects, the financial term to be much longer than 30. I think the central district is being funded at maybe 40. So there might be some things to look at there. Yeah.
Sophia.
Sure. You know, I think we're at a point where this building has not been largely looked at and largely addressed in 32 years. And we're seeing, you know, from my end, one of my areas of responsibility is our maintenance department. And we are having a number of emergency repairs that are really costly, and they inhibit our ability to operate. So we really got to get ahead of that. And it's simply time to invest in it. We're getting enough. There's some programmatic needs that this building currently doesn't meet, and we just need to do it better.
All right, Frank.
Right. You know, I think at this point, I don't know if David wants to chime in. David is our director. He's in the back of the room there. You know, the direction that we got from the fee committee was to look at this as a holistic project. You know, and again, I think, you know, to Jonathan's question, I think, you know, it could play out something like this goes to referendum and it's a $50 fee and folks go, that is just not happening for me. I can't support that. And that's our message that we would then go back to the drawing board and say, well, that's really not palatable. We're going to have to rework this. Is that fair, David? Do you want to say anything else? Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
It is 7 o'clock, so the speaker's time is out, but there's, I'm going to allow the last 2 questions to go, and then there's more time to talk about this during the legislation that's being seen. So if your question has to do with the referendum bill, we could save that till later, but if you have direct questions for our speakers, we'll go ahead and do those now. So that's Sophie who's next.
So along with the needed renovations that you stated, are there any currently that are not up to code that need to be done? Not including emergency, like the toilets clogged all of a sudden, or things like that, right? So like very much structural. Are there any?
Right now, we're in the middle of a fire alarm upgrade. It's about a $500,000 fire alarm upgrade. So we're trying, you know, we're at a point where we are certainly not stopping our investment in the building. You know, we're putting in, this is some pretty sexy stuff, we're putting in a new cooling tower on the building in the spring, so we're working on those sorts of things. There is nothing, you know, life safety and those sorts of things, we absolutely maintain code compliance. So we're compelled by the state to do that. So much of this is functional. It's, you know, I worry about, we have air handlers that are circa 1978, so I worry about, you know, those sorts of things going on in the infrastructure that feeds them is not a good shape. So, yeah. Is that fair? Okay.
All right, and the last question goes to Marcus.
There.
So the fee account for construction services when it's actually implemented,
Well, we'll assume, so the fee accounts for the construction costs of the project. The unions would assume the operational deficits associated with the phase construction and what that means. Obviously, there is certainly the potential for the sales in the retail areas to be down, and we will simply need to be prepared to offset that cost with internal funds. Yeah.
All right, thank you all for coming.
You bet.
And with that, I am looking for a motion to approve last cycle. Ryan? All right. All those in favor of approving last cycle's minutes, please say aye. Actually, we'll do a clicker vote, sorry. So we'll do a clicker vote for this one. All those in favor, please press A, opposed B, abstaining C. This will be your attendance. All right, and with that, the minutes pass, and we'll head on into Stefan's officer report.
Sweet. I won't use the microphone, but hello everyone. It's kind of hard to believe that we're halfway to the. Thanks, Connor. It's kind of hard to believe that we're halfway to the halfway point. We wanted to just start off first by thanking you all for your time, your service, and being in this room. I've got some good updates for you all. First, spent the day at Fort Hays State University for the Kansas Board of Regents meeting. Maddie and I woke up at 5 a.m. And hit the road and got back around 5 p.m. today with some exciting updates for you all. First, an update on the Chancellor search. So the board has issued an RFP, basically a message out to search firms for search firms to submit like their proposal, kind of what they would do to lead the process. And so the couple of the next steps will be selecting a search firm. The board will select a search firm. They will then name the chair of the Chancellor Search Committee, and then after that, they will finalize membership of that search committee, and then a charge for the search committee as well. And the timeline on that is getting all those things done by the end of the calendar year. So by December 31st, as I continue to hear updates, I'll keep all of you apprised of that as well. So today, also at the Board of Regents meeting, I apprised myself and the other student body presidents to discuss the reactions that we've been hearing from students to the weapons policy. So when the 6 regent institutions submitted weapons policies to the Board of Regents, those were all officially made public for students, staff, faculty, the community at large to see. So we just discussed some of the reactions that we've heard from the community and elevated some of those up to the Board of Regents. We're sure to let them know that this policy affects population or subsets of our student population differently. So freshmen, for instance, Amelia and I went and met with some students in the University 101 class, and they were all freshman students very concerned about the weapons policy and just the gun change, where that whole thing came from. So those are students who, after I'm gone, they're going to have to live with this is the reality. And also international students, the fact that international students cannot by law have weapons on campus, and just making sure that Board of Regents and our university administrations understood that was an area of concern, and as well for students of color. We also discussed the graduate health care subsidies issue. This body voted to support a resolution to find adequate health care for graduate students. So that is something that all Regent universities will be doing. And understanding, making sure we express concern. It's a heightened concern for a lot of our graduate students at all our universities, and the board as well, as each of the university, the chancellor and other university presidents will be working to work with us to find an adequate solution. And then Senate Bill 175, so that was the Religious Student Association bill that we brought to the floor last week. Wanted to thank you all again on that front. So we were kind of the first school to actually be movers and shakers on that. And so the other region institutions will be soon following suit. So again, we're kind of setting the tone for that moving forward. And then Higher Education Day, so that is where each of the region student governments take a group of students to the state capitol and lobby on behalf of student issues and student interests. That will be February 1st. So if you're interested in going to the state capitol for State Higher Education Day, I definitely tell you to speak with Maddie Womack, Government Relations Director, about that. But that will be February 1st, I know. We're looking to get a mix of student voices to meet with hopefully a new legislature after the election. And then another update on the Student Profile Project. So that was an IT project that involves collecting and storing gender identity and sexual orientation and preferred pronouns and the campus solutions and enrollment management. And so they're going to be again determining how and by whom this information is going to be used for and shared with. I suggested that because it is like an IT work group primarily composed of, or there's some people like Vanessa Delgado, is the director of the Center for Sexual Assault Sexuality and Gender Diversity. She is on this IT work group, but I suggested that they involve students in the process as well. So they'll be set up creating an outside kind of like an advisory group composed of students as this project moves through each of its phases. So if you are interested in that, please again let me know. And then Gabby and I met with Active Minds Leadership, which is a student organization that primarily focuses on mental health outreach and mental health awareness on campus. And so we're going to be having a meeting on Friday as well with the CAPS administration to move forward in our initiatives to expand increase mental health services on campus. I'm really excited about that. Amelia and I met with the leadership of the First Nation Students Association to discuss the resolution that we have passed at our last meeting for Indigenous Peoples Day and how we can best support their community. As many of you know, we have a city liaison intern, and so that is someone who works that's a KU student right now who works at the City Hall, and is supposed to be a liaison between KU student senate and high school students and kind of connecting the two. So we will be having a dinner and a meeting with city leadership between high school student senate exec and then student senate executive board, and then also members of FINSA here to again see how we can bring all of our issues to the city, how the city can best be an ally and advocate for students. So really looking forward to that. Tomorrow, Gabby will be meeting with the new director of the IOA. The IOA is the Office of Institutional Opportunity and Access. So they oversee a lot of the cases that have to do with sexual assault, sexual harassment, and discrimination. There have been some issues in the past with the office handling student cases, and so we're hoping to meet with him to help foster a new culture and a new environment around the IOA and kind of see what his goals are as the director of the IOA, and how we can make sure that it becomes a student-centered office. And lastly, I want to thank everyone for promoting and supporting the climate study. The timeline for results is most likely January or February. I know the provost would like this information sooner rather than later so we can all begin acting on kind of some of the data that comes out of there. And then lastly, Gabby sent out an email about the tunnel oppression to get volunteers for that. So what that is it's an event put on through the OMA, and it's really, you hear the term a lot, like walk a mile in someone else's shoes. That's what this is. And so they were looking for volunteers anywhere between people to help set up for the event, take down for the event, be an actor in the event, whatever the case may be, or tour guide. And so I would highly encourage all of you to take some time out of your schedules to be volunteers at that event. I'll be there. Many other people I know in this room will be there as well. But really, check that out and please try to volunteer. But that's all I have, and I'll rest of my questions.
Are you willing to advocate for the multiple government and policy and community commission? I should ask you that on Friday,
So I know there will be student representation on that committee. So students, staff, faculty, and everyone. I don't know how that will be selected or who they will. Right. Get into it. Don't worry. Get into it. But I'm happy to consider anyone from any organization, including the MSG as well.
With no questions on the floor, we will move on into my officer report.
All right, hello everyone. Like Stephon said, we wanted to thank you so much for all taking the climate study survey. We, toward the end, started to see a lot more student responses, so we'll be excited to see what the final turnout for students was in that. And then for those of you that have been asking about the incentives, so the prizes that students were available to get for taking the survey, you'll be hearing back from the Office of Diversity and Equity pretty soon on those.
over fall break, the chancellor edited the code, the student code. So she changed around the sentences to have more of an emphasis on the mental health section. But the student affairs staff next week on Monday and Wednesday will be tabling out on WESCO. They're calling it Know Your Code Week. So you can go there, you can ask them any questions you have about the code. They'll also be doing a survey to see how much students know about the code, because this is all of our rights to be students here. So they want to make sure that everyone's aware of what's going on. Another thing that happened in this past week was that it was made known that in the fall of 2018, our campus will be going tobacco-free. So the work for all of this started in about 2013 when the Senate Executive Committee, so what we usually call a Senex, all of the members there supported it, and were in complete support of this initiative. And over the years, different surveys and studies were done on this campus specifically to see the need and how that would all work out. Last year, a resolution of support for a smoker tobacco-free campus was seen by the previous Senate body, but it failed. So from there had been no student support, but over the summer, the chancellor and the provost approved this policy, or approved this initiative, and it will be formally announced starting in the fall of 2017. So from there on out, I think the role of students is going to be really important, that we all have our input on this policy and how it is enforced. I think there's a lot of communities that don't like this. So we're going to need to find ways to work together and to see how everyone can be included and how we can kind of make this the best option out of what we've been forced to deal with. In other news, the liaison, like Stefan mentioned, she is working on a bike share feasibility study. So that would be to have the bike shares here on campus and throughout the city of Lawrence. So if you're interested in helping her out on that, or having any opinion on that, she'd love your input. We'll be hearing from her pretty soon too, in one of her next officer reports, but we wanted to get the ball rolling on that. Another thing is AT&T Text and Drive. We'll be here on campus in a few weeks doing a simulator. So if you haven't taken that pledge, please do, because we are losing really badly. And we don't want to lose to K-State, that's no fun. So that's all I got. Any questions?
Any questions for Gabby? Cool, seeing none, I think we'll move on to the last report.
Thank you for your ongoing participation in the student government here at KU. It's great to see a packed house. Thank you all for being here. Only got 3 or 4 things for you guys tonight, and then I'm going to defer the rest of my time to Connor to talk about some general outreach fields. So first order of business is activating the final 2 replacement centers that were determined by our replacement committee. Luke Jordan headed up that committee. He did a hell of a job. It was kind of a long process as far as scheduling these interviews and kind of mobilizing the 5 committee members to get together for a vote. So basically at this point, our first selection is to fill a non-trad position. This is Joseph Koloth. Funny thing about Joseph was I think it was my first day as chief of staff back in April. He came into my office, missed out on the spring elections, wanted to get involved in student government. We met throughout the summer, so it's pretty cool to see this thing get done. He unfortunately can't be here tonight, so we'll get him approved next week. But at this point, I'll bring up Jordan Mackey. He is our off-campus selection. Just bring Jordan up here to say 20-30 seconds on himself, and then we'll move to acclimate.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm Jordan Mackey. I'm a sophomore. I'm studying, or my focus is pre-med, a minor in Spanish. I'm off campus for a senator. I'm from Olathe. I'm pretty involved on campus too. I'll give you a couple. I'm on SUA, MSG/MEF. Sorry, trying to think of other ones. and Swirl, an organization that I created on campus with other students. That's just a little bit of how involved I am. I'm also in BSU. I'm trying to think what else. No, I don't sleep. I'm tired right now. I had a test earlier, so I look a little tired. Apologize. But yeah.
Are there any questions for Jordan? John? All those in favor of acclimating Jordan Mackey as our new off-campus senator, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Abstaining? All right. Congratulations, Jordan.
Yeah. So with these two replacements, the website will be updated to reflect the openings that we currently have. As of now, we only have one graduate spot left, 2 education, 1 international grad, and 1 music. So that's fantastic. Just got to fill about 5 more spots, and we really have an incredible packed house in here. So yeah. Next item, we held legislative training 2.0. For new freshmen or replacement senators, or just anyone who had missed session back in August. This was led by our thorough and incredibly knowledgeable, to say the least, senior senator, Adam Steinhilber. He did a hell of a job. Also, the attendance at legislative training was fantastic, considering the uncharacteristically high volume of replacement senators this year. So I've emailed a few of you who didn't make it to makeup. If you haven't gotten in contact with me, let me know. Looking into kind of finding a few alternative ways to get this requirement covered. Next thing, just a couple updates on funding requests and general funding legislation. You guys are going to see a couple bills tonight that were not sent to committees, basically. The reason for doing so is StudX has the autonomy to determine a bill as time-sensitive. So we brought a couple bills to StudX that were of this nature, and a simple majority allows these bills to be referred directly to full Senate. This is normally due to some lack of documentation, whether that be contractual services or just simple miscommunication. Lack of itemized funding that is then kind of cleared up in the meantime between committees and StudX. So be aware of that. Another thing to be mindful of is StudX also has the ability to remove a bill from the table. So in standing committees, if the committee, as a unit, decided that the bill needed to be tabled due to like things I mentioned regarding documentation, something regarding the purpose of the fund. So you've got one bill that was on the table, so be aware of that. That's about all I have for tonight. I'm going to refer the rest of my time to Connor. Wait, one last thing. Connor, this is kind of related to you anyway. Email last week was about student center outreach requirements and how one satisfies the two elements with regard to continued cultural competency and just basic educational efforts. The first Fawn mentioned tunnels of impression, October 26th, 28th. Google Docs, sign up to be a volunteer or participate in that. Safe Pack bystander intervention. Dustin Strubles coming on October 30th and November 6th from 7 to 8:30 in the Kansas room. I will be sending out a sign-up sheet for that because Dustin needs to kind of have an idea of how many senators will be attending each training and kind of the amount of resources he needs to devote to each. So fill out that. Another thing is query engagement lecture October 25th, 7 to 9 p.m. in Woodruff. Men and Masculinity is November 6th, noon to 4:30. And then if you we're at Legislative Training 2.0. You can go to any of these events to fulfill your cultural competency requirement, or as we recommend, is going through the direct programming through the website. So the rest of the time will be for our communications director, Connor.
1 minute. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. I know we'd rather watch them for the principal's debate, or actually probably not. No, probably not. Real quick. Okay. So for the outreach, the one-on-one meetings that about half of you have done so far, we're going to make the deadline for that November 6th. So you need to meet with Danny right before then. Like I said, we're really accommodating. We're not going to do the doodle anymore. Sorry for Lauren Sherwood, I think just entered one. We'll do that one. But I'm getting rid of the doodle poll. For those of you who haven't met with us, just email us your available time. Figure out a time to meet with you. And we can also do this by the phone if it doesn't work for you to come in. But we'd like to see you in the office. I met with outreach earlier with the wonderful chair Maddie Carter, and we decided that outreach this year is a little late. I can explain why later when I have time. But outreach this year is Monday, November 28th through Friday, December 2nd. I know it's late. I know it's cold. But it's after the election, and we'll be more free to do stuff. So remember your outreach policies you have to help with that. So I'll remind you all as we get closer. We're going to do something pretty fun and original things we haven't done before. And then my last thing is I want you all to like promote committees and stuff. That's part of something that we really want to do this year. Recruitment phase is kind of over for student since we filled most of our seats. So if you're on Twitter, find your favorite committee that you're in about them, and just kind of help us promote ourselves and get people to meetings. And that's about it.
All right. With that, the speaker's time is expired with just one question on the floor for a motion. Brian. All right. All in favor of extending the speaker's time, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Abstaining. All right. Jonathan.
Yeah. That is an appointed seat. So basically how we fill the appointed spots is an NCA organization gets together and they determine either their representative, their delegate, and then they send it our way for Stefan and Gabby to appoint. I forgot the budget.
Mary's here. She's our new student veteran for the legislation that was passed last week. So welcome, Mary.
That reminded me, we have five openings in these appointed seats. We still don't have one from Hawks, MPHC, Jack Towers Association. So basically that can often be a lack of communication, as far as them getting back to Gabby and myself about their representative. But once we hear back, it's an appointed position that is just there. So.
There's a motion, Adam. All right. All those in favor of moving Bill 770052 to the top of the agenda above Amy's officer report, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. All those abstaining. All right. So right now we'll be moving into Bill 770052, a bill to fund the KU Student Farm. You have 5 minutes for presentation and questions.
All right. First off, thank you everyone again. For those of you who don't know me, I'm here. It's Bill KU Farm, great organization. Now you volunteer there. Last year, CEO. Fantastic. Facilities they do a lot of great work. And I heard you're here. Katrina answers more questions as well as the detail about why they're requesting that they are. Katrina.
Hi, thank you. My name's Katrina McClure. I'm a PhD program in geography, the treasurer of the KU Farm. And I thank you for letting me come early. My son thinks he's waiting for me to work. So we put a bill in to cover mowers, some structures, potting soil, hose part, wheels for the hose part, and hoses. For the hose part.
You can go.
Okay, yeah. So KUT Farm Guide opportunities for KUT staff to have the opportunity to experience growing food, medicine, fiber, plants, and we have a sister garden now that's right down nice and Mississippi, where we have students there, so you guys probably see that garden, and we also have the off-site location of down that is 1,600 rows, it's on 5 acres, garden, about an acre of that, and that's we've been doing that. Began in 2009 actually from some environmental studies students, and it was finished a year later, and we've gone another year since.
All right, the next question is Trinity.
We have Twitter, Instagram, website, Facebook, and I believe we have over 1,000 followers on all our social media, and then a lot of people at various events recruit.
Okay, the second question is this funded by a student or academic as well?
Okay, so typically, my experience with raising $600,000 a year through fundraising. And a lot of times that's through our participation at the Powell Valley Fair and the Earth Day celebration. So the students will make up, they'll get glass and things and pots from Goodwill or something, and then we'll pot succulents and we'll make pretty, and we'll sell those for $5, and then sometimes we do Chipotle fundraisers, and then a lot of times you get donations. Yeah.
What's your email,
So I'd say if I had to estimate about looking at the stuff, I'd say about 23 to 2,500, depending, some of the higher price items, fillers, stuff, to get this here.
All right. Are there any more questions? Chance. All those in favor of calling question on this bill, please say aye. Opposed, please say nay. Abstaining. All right, it's been whoa, we're going to do a flipper vote. All those in favor, please press A. Opposed, B. Abstaining, C. All right, with that, the bill passes, and we will move back into officer reports. So we'll go with Amy.
Hello everyone, my name is Amy Grimm, I'm the Graduate Affairs Director, and I have a couple updates for you. So I've mentioned a couple times that I'm here that we're starting a new graduate research colloquium series, and we're currently accepting applications for that. So I have flyers if you would like some to put up around campus for people. But to apply, graduate students just need to email my senator at senate.grad.dir.edu with their project information. Know anybody who's interested, please have them get in touch. We're setting up the first one is going to be December 1st, and then there will be more in the spring. We're determining how many applicants we get. Second thing, last time we talked a lot about graduate insurance. Thank you guys formally again for supporting that resolution that we brought forward. I'm going to update you on that now. So put together this website as so I told you I was going to do a federal petition, and I launched today so that we could do that. But you only get 800 characters for a White House petition, and that's not enough to fully explain the problem. So I made a website. So here we have our background information like that. I only have this. I want to add another section, but this has the federal actors that have led to us here. I want to then further explain why this is so inconsistent with other federal definitions of graduate students. So I'll eventually get there. But then if you go to take action, that's where we have the line to sign the petition. So we have until November 18th, 2016, not very long, to get 100,000 signatures. Well, 100,000 minus like 4. That's in a few friends. So 6. Okay. Okay, so here's the White House petition. So if you ever want to do a White House petition, it's people in petitions.whitehouse.gov. Okay, so our demand here is to issue final guidance enabling colleges and universities to continue subsidizing health insurance for graduate students. Again, the issue here is that federal regulators, despite elsewhere having other definitions of graduate students, here are saying because graduate students are employees, or here we're talking about GTAs, GRA, and GAs, because those individuals are employed by the university. The university cannot subsidize their insurance and be compliant with the Affordable Care Act, which needs to say, yes, you can. So that's our final here is regulators make a final rule that these subsidies are AAC compliant. So that's the demand. And this is true for universities across the U.S. So we need you to send this, share this, sign this, and get this out. So and then sharing it with the website to give context is a smart choice. So this is going to all be sent to you. I made a bit.ly link so that it's short, so you don't have to learn this whole thing. It's just bit.ly.com/grad petition. So bit.ly.com/grad petition. And if you do that, then that will get you to the petition signed. And so send us out the listserv. I put together a graphic that we're going to share too, and I can write up a sample blurb. So if you want to share it on social media, beyond all my social media, it's out as much as we can. We gotta get 100,000 signatures. So that's obviously much further reaching than our university alone. So really appreciate your help. We passed our resolution last time, but now we need to actually take steps to make this happen. So again, if the federal regulators would make this final ruling, then everything would go back to the way it was, and everything would be happy for us again. So please share that. And the one final thing I have is grad students, grad senators, pharmacy and law. Please stay after a couple minutes. So talk about this and a couple other things. Well, it's gonna be sent to all of you, but it's just graduate health insurance. Sure. It's bit.ly.com/grad petition. It's live. Everything's live.
You have the link to this on the petition, right?
No, because that would have been too many characters. So.
No, I mean the link that graduate petition is really the only one. You see what I'm saying?
This is the petition, and it doesn't have a link to the site.
Okay.
The site links to the petition, but not the other way.
Hi everyone. I'll keep this short since time brief, but just want to give you a few updates on the two main policy initiatives that are happening right now. So Silver Venture business is going really well. Right now we're interested donors and alumni, people who are interested in supporting the program. There's a really supportive and really extensive group of alumni who have seen the need to address recruiting other minorities into the business, so that's a great addition to our team. We're also talking financial aid and scholarships to create a sort of learning module for our program. So students can come in and see what it takes, what opportunities they have to help financially, and it kind of creates a full experience. We're not just learning about business topics, but also learning about how to get into college. Yes. Met yesterday with Abduli in IT department, or not with Abduli, with IT, excuse me. To draft the application program. So hopefully this will be up by next week. Hopefully we'll see that on the school's website by then. The First Generation Internship Program is also going very well. The University Center is very interested in creating a sort of career preparedness and professional development program for these first generation students. So that's a very good addition to the program as well. And then we're also talking with Hocklink and Trio and existing programs to not have too much overlap, to see how we can accommodate needs that they've experienced in their time dealing with first generation students. And actually about it, so I'll use the rest of my time for questions.
All right, everyone else keep this pretty short as well. I'm just going to give a quick update on our general funding streamlining. If you're in UA or Finance, I think the committees that talked about us last week. Then you heard some of this, but if you aren't in those committees, then I'll kind of give a brief background about this. So right now, if people want general funding for their group, they have to wait basically a full cycle until it goes through committees. And then through full Senate. But there's some groups that only need like $100 or below $100. That's really not. It really doesn't make sense to wait almost a month to get this funding when they can just request it and we can pass it earlier than that. So we're working through a type of online form that these groups fill out and the treasurer could approve for very small amounts of funding so that they can get this money right away, get started buying office supplies. And get started with the other things they need to use this funding for instead of waiting a full cycle for that. So it's still very much in the concept stage. Will probably be for requests under $100. Most likely limit of one group once they fill out one of those requests to come through committees for more funding. And we want to involve anyone who wants to be involved in this, anyone who has ideas about this. Like I said, it's very early in the concept stage, so we're really open to ideas at this point. But in the sake of keeping this meeting going, if you could please email those ideas to Alyssa or myself, senate@tresh@ku.edu or senate@internal@ku.edu. That would be great. We'd be up to meet with you. We'd be really open to input anyone here has. And then just a quick reminder to let me know if you'll miss full senate@internal@ku.edu. Shoot me a note. If you're missing committee, shoot the secretary of that committee a note. Copy me an email. Does anyone have any questions?
Are there any questions? All right. Seeing no questions, we will actually move into a listen with report this time.
So today, the unallocated balance, if everything passes today, will be $56,525, and travel fund is down to $1,540. So if you know groups that need funding, tell them to put their applications in soon. Thank you.
Are there any questions? All right. So with that, we'll be going into the consent agenda. Before we see any motions, I just want to make note there is one bill in there, like Danny mentioned. There are a few bills that went through that were added to the agenda. One of those is 2017-058, a bill to KUR's work, and that was just $100 general funding. So that's on the consent agenda, but I just want to make you all aware of that. And then Ryan?
Second.
All right. Properly moved and seconded. So all of those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Abstaining. All right. And with that, consent agenda passes, and we will move into Bill 2017-057, a bill fund KU Chinese Student and Scholar Friendship Association. I believe Johnny, you're the author. Let's see.
Hi everyone. Can you guys hear me? Okay, you guys hear me now? Alright, hi everyone. I'm Johnny Wang, and I'm the National Senator. So tonight I'm here to represent the KU Chinese Student and Scholars Friendship Association. Here's their President Max, and we're here to present the bill to fund their Chinese New Year Gala. And this year, due to the precedence of like so many success in past years, and they decided to move up to the Leeds Center to hold their gala this year, and consequently it's going to be a huge cost for the venue rental fee. So they turned to Senate to help them fund the fee, and I'll leave more details to Max to introduce this event to you guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Max, and so Chinese Association was established like 30 years ago. So every year the Chinese New Year is like the biggest thing to us. So last year we held the event in the ballroom. And so for next year we want to do it at the Liz Center. And the sitting capacity is 2,000. And we are expecting like more than 1,000 audience. So the rental fee in total it's like about 4,000. And based on the what is that called? The rule? No, the rule like 1,000 half rule.
So according to the first 1,000, then students fund the rest of the half rule, and the calculation.
And we are asking students to fund us $2,497 for the event. Are there any questions?
All right. Sophie has the first question.
So this funding for the acquiring of space, will you be mapping out more additional funding for activities or?
No.
All right. Next is a positive speech from Erica. Chance. All those in favor of calling the question on Bill 2017-0557, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Abstaining. All right, so we'll move into a clicker vote. All those in favor of passing Bill 2017-0557, a bill to fund KU Chinese Student and Scholars Friendship Association, please press A. Opposed, B. Abstaining, C. All right, and with that, the bill passes.
Thank you guys. You guys are welcome to the show.
Trinity, your motion. All right. So it's been moved to move into committee as a whole to generate legislation. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Abstaining? All right. We'll be generating legislation right now.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah. And
Does this work?
Okay.
We moved into committee as a whole because there's a time restraint on this legislation. This group had came to MSG and requested funds. They initially requested $720, which we approved. However, due to unforeseen circumstances and also that their speakers are international, that there was higher cost than was expected, so they now need $1,310. And so last night we voted to fund the $720, but spoke created this bill on the fly to see if the Senate is willing to fund the other $590. So these two very important individuals can come to speak. I will now let Andreas speak through who these people are and why they're coming to campus.
Everyone for being here and paying attention to what I have to say. I don't recall this on September 26, 2014. 43 students were basically kidnapped and disappeared in the south of Mexico. And this, it's been 2 years now, and nothing has been done from the Mexican government's part. So they are coming. They is the parent of one of the kids and a professor that teaches at the education school where they were studying. They're doing a tour of the U.S. entirely funded by the organizations that host them. They are taking donations and clothing there from a very poor rural area in Mexico. And they'll be here at KU to talk to us about where they're for justice in Mexico and the world. They're actually going to testify at the Washington, D.C. Inter-American Human Rights Commission the day before they come here. So basically that's what we're looking to I guess to fund part of it. And there's going to be an event held in Bailey 318 on October 28th. It's a Friday at 1 p.m. where they're going to basically sit on where this all stands and then answer questions for the audience. Questions? I don't know.
Oh, defer
So for those that couldn't hear, the question was to see if it was included in treasurer's cash flow report for tonight. All right. If there's no more questions or changes that need to be made, Marcus?
Second.
All right, all those in favor of moving out of committee as a whole, please say aye. Opposed, please say nay. Abstaining? Great. Okay. So now I'm for a motion to call the question on what would be Bill 27-060. Marcus?
Second.
All those in favor of voting to call the question on Bill 27-060, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Abstaining? All right, so this will be a clicker vote again. So all those in favor of passing Bill 27-060, a bill to fund the Graduate Association of Spanish and Portuguese, please press A, opposed B, abstaining C. All right, and with that, the bill passes. And we will be moving into Bill 2017-059, a bill to fund Kansas Fulbright Scholars.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashton, and I'm from South Africa. And I don't know if you know about Fulbright, but just a brief introduction. As a Fulbright scholar, we have a mandate. It's a cultural exchange program whereby we exchange our culture with you and the US. And when we return back to our countries, we take a part of what we've learned from the US culture back to South Africa. So we are organizing an event called the Cultural Collage, and JC's going to speak more about it.
Thank you very much. So as Ashton said, my name is Desi. This Cultural Collage is an event that we started last year, in November, and it was a really successful event. We were actually expecting less than 100 people, and we got over 130 or something. The idea is to provide a space for cultural exchange or artistic performances that allow us to get to know a little bit more about the culture of others. So this year we are partnering with several associations. So we're partnering with the Latin American Graduate Organization, with the Chinese Association, met somewhere, with the Indian Association, African Association, and our idea is to try and bring together a bit of culture from all over the world. So we have requested funds for different activities from different areas. So thank you very much to the Multicultural Education Fund. They're funding part of this. We also got some support from Coca-Cola to fund food, and we are requesting support from the Senate to fund the advertisement, which practically concerns the posters, the flyers that we are trying to put out, because we are trying to get a lot more people in the event this year. Our target is around 350 people. So we're holding it at the Woodruff Auditorium on November 4th. If you are interested in coming, you're welcome. We hope that you do. We're also having printing expenses regarding the collage per se, since that is the name of our event. We're actually putting up a photograph that brings together a collage of the people, landmarks, gastronomy, and others. We're also trying to advertise this through different venues. So we're considering putting up flyers in the KU buses as well, which has an additional cost, because we're trying to put this event to the reach of not only the KU community, but also the Lawrence community. And so that makes up about $166 for advertisement. And in addition, we're requesting $175 to have an AV technician to support our rehearsal and the event itself.
That was determined as time sensitive at Studex. There was a minor concern related to they just provided documentation of advertisement $560. Kind of itemized it, said exactly what make up that $560 for instance. So yeah, that's that.
Okay. Gladly. Yes. Sorry. That probably was taken directly from the original bylaws that we have for our organization. However, in the previous part where it's the members of our organization, it says that we obviously were created by Fulbrighters, but we also have it open to everybody. I can't remember the specific term that it is used. Do you remember? No. Okay. But it's open to Fulbrighters who are not who have finished their full grant, but are still studying, to those who have graduated and live in the area, and also to other students at KU. So it is open to everybody. It is in our bylaws, and we actually have somebody who requested to be a part of our organization recently. So we're starting to get it out there, and that is part as well of why we're partnering with other associations, and why we want to get our voice out there a bit more, because we want to make our association more visible and give them more opportunity for others to join us.
Yeah, and lot of the time sensitivity was due to some confusion in this regard because we corresponded over email. And I talked to Alyssa concern about Fulbright as a national organization, and then how this as a student group falls within that. Basically, what I gathered email was that it's open to all students initially, and then the GPA requirements, the other things, and then those apply.
With that, the speaker's time is expired with 1, 2, 3, 4 questions on the floor. Sophie? All those in favor of extending time by 4 questions, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstaining. All right. And then the next question goes to Chance.
I didn't that I thought support staff would be within payroll. I would on check to see if we're allowed to do so. Part of me is that it doesn't as far as student support staff.
Actually, what we're asking for is the AV technician who provides support at the Woodruff Auditorium. Is that?
That's fine.
All right, next question is Sophie.
Hi. So I recognize that the event is really wonderful and it's great. But looking through, sorry, preface.
Granted. Keep it very brief.
Okay, so looking through the Fulbright Association as well as national one, it does not seem, or read in the bylaws, is open to all students, considering it is an organization you have to apply for and be accepted as. So as far as income goes, are we allowed to under their bylaws to fund this event then?
Okay, maybe we can clarify. There might have been some sort of confusion. So in order to be able to become a Fulbright, you do have to apply and go through a process. However, to be a part of the KU Fulbright Scholars Association, you don't need an application. You don't need a GPA record. We have. Give me a second. We have our by list as well here.
And you don't even need to be a Fulbright scholar to be a part of the Fulbright Scholars. So we in our social gatherings amongst Fulbrighters in earlier Christian, that's always open to other people too. So the Fulbright program is something that I applied to in South Africa in another country, and I'm here as a Fulbright scholar by identity. But we have formed an association at the university that is open to everyone and Fulbrighters, but you don't have to be a Fulbright scholar to be a part of, if that makes sense.
The next question goes to Brittany. No, there's only for one.
Okay, I can put it together. You heard for Danny or Wit, but doesn't KU and contractual services for staff have to be before the bill can be passed?
Alyssa? No. All right. And then the next question is Dylan's. Granted, brief. All right, and with that, all the questions have been answered. Maddie? All those in favor of calling the question on Bill 2017-059, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. All those abstaining. All right, so we'll go into a quicker vote. All those in favor of passing Bill 2017-059, a bill to fund Fulbright Scholars Association, please press A. Opposed, B. Abstaining, C. All right, and with that, the bill passes, and we will move into Bill 2017-303, the official order of the Senate to direct the Elections Commission to put forth the question for referendum. Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. So, like Lisa and Rachel mentioned earlier tonight, they were able to explain a little bit more about what the union referendum would be. But before we're even having the fee, we need to put it forth to the body. Last year during fee review, the union came to the fee subcommittee asking for a renovation fee increase. And we determined on that committee, we determined that it was too large of a fee to pose and to make that decision unilaterally before the whole university had a say in it. So that's essentially what this bill is doing. It is the Elections Commission to this year in the spring elections add a question after students would complete all of the voting. Their student body president, vice president, and then through all of their groups. It would just be a question there. They would ask about the fee, and it would be yes, no, or abstaining, just like all of the other voting options. So I will go ahead and use the rest of my time for questions.
Marcus.
So if we pass the bill and the referendum pass our the lock if you don't
It would fear review would have already happened at that point, and then the fee would not be collected until 2020. If that makes answer your question. What?
Granted.
Yes. If that is the question that the Elections Commission puts on as just $50, then that's what would happen. Yes. But if the union came back and said that they needed like less. So for example, Chancellor's question, where he asked if the could be extended farther out than 30 years, or something were to happen in the meantime, could be an option for it to go down. What do you? So what would happen would be the election when they run elections. They would just be adding it, and it would be a recommendation from fee review.
Yeah. Your name wouldn't necessarily say the $50 fee passes. I would think that your name wouldn't necessarily.
No, because the entire student body would have had the option to weigh in on it.
Your name would be attached to the if per se y'all approve this tonight by calling it to referendum, calling it to direct due to the relative weight of a $50 increase. I'd imagine it would be tied to the to that. But that's just my.
Another thing too is sending it to referendum also means that it would require a 10% voter turnout in there. So if there were something to happen in the voter turnout for the election was below 10%, and people voted on this question as well, it would not count, and there would not be the fee.
Trinity. Next question from Trinity.
Yep. So the Memorial Union and Memorial Corporation Board will act as their own separate entity in this promotion of it. So the way Rachel mentioned it, is the communications director for their campaign of promoting this fee. They would almost function just like a Student Senate coalition.
Granted.
So how do we guarantee that the entire body gets reached? What if they reach out to know where they go?
I'm going to defer to Rachel. So Trinity's question was how do you ensure that the entire body is reached out to about this question?
It's granted. Speaker's time has elapsed with six questions on the floor. Looking for a motion to extend by number of question on the floor. Perfect. All those in favor of extending time by questions on the floor, say aye. All those opposed, nay. Perfect. That leads to a question from Sophie.
Similarly to today's question now, is there a way to include not on the Senate voting, but also for them to have a separate surveys because we have historically very low voter turnout and it's not representative of the whole student body that would be affected by this.
So
Beyond just student outreach, us outreaching, are there
So like Lisa said, the union does their annual survey that gets sent out to students, and that's where this need for union renovation came from. The results from those surveys. So does that?
Yeah. Certainly.
Could we see those numbers?
I'm going to defer to Steve.
Chance.
Okay, so clear going to be trying to get question to answer your question. We're not just going to be reaching out. I'm in charge doing the regular run that process. We're not just going to reach out. We'll be coming and talking about all every single that we reach out, reach out to the things that election happen. We're going to focus on college resident. We're going to be going places that not. We'll continue surveys and we're going to make sure that as we go forward this process,
Hey, point of order. We have another question from Melissa. She was out of turn. I'll let you answer it. Perfect. Next question from Melissa.
Yes, I definitely think that this kind of gives it away. The 10 people that sit on peer review are people that spend time in the union. We're all on student senate. We're all part of student organizations. So I think that's automatically a biased opinion. I think that putting it in front of the whole student body and having it make sure it goes out to more than 10% of people really allows for it to be a fair decision because every single student will pay that $50. So more than 10 people should decide it.
I also think this is the most impactful way to reach as many students as possible. While the concern as to whether just Rock Chalk Central groups being reached out to is valid, I think that the nature of this, putting it to direct vote is normally the most commonplace way in which you can reach the most amount of students and have this vote be accessible. That's that. Next question is Dylan Jones.
That is in all student
rules
and regs. Sorry. So that is just like definition when it defines referendum. So no, rules and regs have to be a separate bill as rules and regs change.
I can show you that as well, Dylan.
Yeah.
Next question is from James.
I'm going to defer to David Mucci. Yeah, and in our rules and regs says that it'll be ending in, I think, 2048 or...
All right, speaker's time has elapsed with one question on the floor from Brett. Oh, sorry, I missed. By number of questions. 3 minutes. Perfect. All those in favor of extending speaker's time by number of questions on the floor and/or 3 minutes, say aye. All those opposed? Trinity, and then Brent.
My first question is why your answer was so different from the communication director. It was just that we haven't had that full conversation yet. We need to have a little more clarification. And she wasn't on one of the answers so she was making issues with I think originally the capacity. But we talked about reaching out beyond rock charts and research and okay. Okay, thank you.
Follow up?
No, just a second question.
Okay.
Has anyone considered have assured that groups that this fee is going to impact the most, meaning the marginalized students on this campus, are going to be reached out to?
No, I think that's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Next question from, or do you have any more, Trinity? You can Yeah. I also think a lot of this will fall upon those two coalitions, or 3 or 4, however they may form, and the extent to which they cite the importance of this through their promotional kind of messaging efforts, in addition to how they outreach, on the president, vice president, and the slate's behalf, but also, you outreach to these groups with the context of this referendum. So I think a lot of that will come, as these things form. Next question is from Brett, and then Dylan.
Besides seeking student senate support, are there any other ways that this referendum could be called?
Do you mean putting it before the student body?
Are there any other ways that we can install besides us authorizing?
I can defer to Chance, but before I go, I'm just going to say that in order for it to be a fee, Student Senate oversees that required campus fee. So I don't think there's any other way but Chance.
So, to call it a referendum, there are 2 ways that you can do that. You can either pass a resolution, or you can go out and petition the student body to get one vote. You can vote. In all times that we have ever done a referendum on this campus, it has been done by passing a bill through Student Senate and by having Student Senate call for it. When we wrote this bill, we were very careful to make sure that no language in the bill indicated that Student Senate is in support of this fee increase. There is no language that suggests that Student Senate has this fee increase. This language is all very neutral, and all it talks about is having the students have the right to have a say on this issue. So if by passing it through Senate, you're not putting Senate's stamp of approval on this. It's basically Senate abdicating our representative duty for a direct democracy.
Speaker's time has elapsed. Looking for a motion. Brittany? Looking for all those in favor of extending speaker's time by 5 minutes, say aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Yes. Next question goes to Timon.
Yeah.
Dylan, then Timon.
The union is not funded by the university. It's like a privately funded organization. So if it does not pass, it will not be funded.
Next question is from Adam. Timon, I meant then Adam.
Okay, yeah, I'd like starting from a real business only for one reason. That was a good preface. So,
I guess it's granted then. Yeah.
So if we were to not pass this, would this just come up again in fee review with the same amount?
I would assume that, yeah, the union would come during their fee review presentation and ask for it. So.
Whereas if
Granted.
If we were to pass it and the vote was no,
I'm gonna
it
get.
would probably be a reduced amount.
It would be a no. So if it goes to referendum and it passes, there would be the fee. If it were to go and it were to fail, it would have to happen again in the fee review the following year.
Right. But they would take that as a message that they.
We have a question from Adam and then Sophia. Granted.
So in the bill, it says that the fee shall terminate at the end of fiscal year 2050. So if the fee generates enough revenue to pay off the union prior to that, would the fee terminate, or would it be possible to terminate it prior to 2050?
Yes, yep, that's how it works. That's how it's worked with fees in the past, and it would just terminate right there. We wouldn't continue to pay it.
Next question from Sophia. Certainly.
That's, yeah.
Oh, Brittany, I forgot you're next. I apologize.
I didn't quite get that.
Historically, the model for funding of these type of operations, as you saw from those drawings up there, the value we bring back to this is because you invested in the facility, and because we run bookstore dining operations, we've been able to keep our operating fees low. So you saw that extended line of total fees. We're able to at least keep our operating fees lower down. So we don't have an ongoing financial ability to make these kind of changes. So historically, your predecessors built this building with the updated this building with those and really generational. Our time comes to pick up that.
Okay. Time for questions has elapsed with 4 questions on the floor. Looking for a motion. Brittany?
Motion to extend speaker's time by 4 questions on the floor.
Second.
Perfect. All those in favor of extending speaker's time by 4 questions on the floor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Perfect. First question goes to Brittany.
Thank you. In the bill, it says,
Granted.
It says $50 per semester. But I think in Lisa's presentation, you said $50 a year. No? Per semester. Can we amend? Oh, sorry. Can we amend it to say $100 per academic year?
I think that we talk about fees per semester, so when they're outlined in our thing, we go through like $1.80 per semester, $455 per semester. So I just think that that would be concerning because we also need to take, when we do it by the full year, it messes up with fee review on summer sessions and the summer fee. That's my only reason why I would. Okay.
Another? Next question to Trinity. Time?
Back to Chance. So if the other option is to petition the student body to get the referendum, wouldn't that aid in outreach?
So
I know historically it hasn't been done, but isn't that a viable option?
it is an option, and if student senate doesn't pass this bill, that's an option that we might consider. But that being said, I don't think we're going to be doing so. So to explain some of how this outreach is going to work, because I think that might help. We're doing outreach in two parts. So currently, if this passes, we're going to embark on a listening tour. And we're going to go across campus, just talk to students about what they want to see in a renovated UU. And so we're going to start the process of reaching out to them. And I'm sure that we would reach out to something like 6% of the student body in that process. And then again, we'll come around in the spring semester, and then we'll actually talk about the referendum itself. So our outreach efforts are extremely extensive to the point that we're going to be saying, this is a possibility either way, but instead of limiting us and saying we need to decide a position, so maybe we can have a referendum or not, this gives us a passing it through Senate, a really sure footing to be able to talk to them and get them involved. Because if I go to a group and I'm talking to them about renovating the union, but I say to them, well, I don't know if we're actually going to be able to do this in the end, they're going to be less likely to talk to me about what they would want to see in a renovated union and all of those things. So this just gives us a really solid foundation to begin these conversations so that we can reach out to as many people on this campus as possible.
Okay. Second question is to y'all in the back. You said earlier that you've been talking to endowments and they were hesitant or they talked about funding, but it wouldn't be that large. Is there a reason we have a $1.8 billion endowment that they're hesitating to allocate to this college or this development?
That's a fair point. All right, number of questions has elapsed. We have 2 questions left on the floor and a positive speech from Brittany, looking for and a negative speech from Sophia and Jonathan. So looking for a motion to extend time by, just looking for a motion. Sophia? Sophie?
Motion to extend time by only 2 questions and then going into 2 speeches.
Second.
Perfect. All those in favor of extending speaker's time by 2 questions, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? First question. Then Chance Adams, you had a question? Yeah.
So my question basically is, in the past, was there actually other funding other than students, or is there some projects in the past? The reality of it is the funding is primarily from student fees. We make investments in this over there to generate streams of income, but it's not sufficient for the scope of what that it came on. Nor did the scope of the traditional law raise the scope of the shell. This is actually built out to the theory of this scope in its initial stages. There is, again, there's a question on, are there endowment dollars? Part of the question is institutions driven by what donors want to pay for, but also the institution's priorities are active in this program as well. Secondarily, there was a survey of corporate sponsorships done recently at the industry to see who might have dollars. I don't know if that's amenable to this group, but nothing was discovered in terms of corporate sponsors to provide money for
capital project. So we look at both sides of that equation at the moment, and there's nothing promising in that regard. And again, that could change, I guess. We don't know how to change that equation given that we received those conversations with both areas.
So yeah, the next question was from me. Follow up on that, Mr. Mucci. So as it presently stands, the only other alternative besides referendum would be going through something like fee review, correct? Yeah. Yeah. So basically, so point of clarification. My question was dealing with. Never mind. I lost my train of thought. Okay. We're moving into speeches. We have a positive speech from Brittany. Yes, go negative first. I meant negative speech from Sophia Templin, Jonathan, and if you guys want to team up, Sophia goes first, and then we have a negative speech from Sophia.
Okay, so this is work. Yes. Hi. Okay. I'm sorry. I made some notes. If you guys want, whoever else has negative speeches, you can come up here if I go quickly. So first things first, I think we all need to take a second to realize that this is $50 per semester for 30 years. And how a referendum works, as we all have kind of come about to understanding in this last 20 minutes, is all of the students during elections are going to vote on this. And that's going to be determinant for the next 30 years starting in 2020. So I think that we really need to understand that this is, it's not necessarily time sensitive right now. And I think that, yes, there are renovations that are going to need to be done, but there are renovations that need to be done on every campus building. And the union specifically is a great resource that we all love, and we all want it to continue to be a great resource. But we're going to have 2 fully functional unions starting in 2018, and I think that private funding and the opportunity to look into this further and maybe break it down into phases is going to come up later into the future. I think that asking current students to vote on a $100 fee per year, in addition to the already rising campus fees that they have to pay, is really potentially detrimental because it's not going to affect them. And I think that it needs to be fully developed. The thought behind it is great. I think that renovations are awesome for the union, but I think there's a lot of other ways that these dollars can be allocated in a more productive way as of right now, and we can think about this later in the future.
So my concern is similar to what she was just saying, and I kind of frame it in an economics way, and that is, it's almost as if we're creating moral hazard by putting this on the referendum. And that is to say, we're creating a situation to ask people to take the risk or to spend the money that's not their money, because it's not going to be for a couple years that the fee goes in. And so normally I would say, well, us as Senate, we at least could be responsible for that because we would be accountable for being elected. But that's not true either, because it'll be on the same it'll be during the same election that the people in this building will either be gone or not in office, or other people will be seeking it. Sure. So I see that we want to spend the future's money because of whatever reason why we might want it. And I don't like that because I think that's a moral hazard.
Yeah, I have one more thing to add as well. I think that referendums are awesome. I think that there's definitely an opportunity for, if the right project presents itself, that we could potentially have the student body ask for money for Into the Future for students. But I think that because we are going to have already more resources with the brand new Burge, and that this union, yes, it does need improvements, but it is fully functioning, I think that we should really wait to push our dollars something in the future that would potentially prevent us from being able to afford something else.
Okay. We have a question from Marcus.
Yeah. The question was, how long can the union function without the renovations?
I think the question is, are we going to close up tomorrow? The normal rate for expenses, for example, we have 8% bites up on level 6. wait, but interest rates are going to go up. You know, the cost of the project are going to go up because of the inflation rate. We get making expensive repairs instead of solving problems in a within fashion. So that is really the equation I think is important. And the less functional we are, the less we're able to generate dollars that then keep our operational costs low. So we're going to come back to on the operational side and say, look, you know, we're going to have more fees just to have more maintenance people on to make sure that the boilers work and the plumbing gets repaired. So you know, it begins to snowball. So that's the kind of.
Can I'm just going to ask a question back to you really quickly. Has the opportunity of phases presented itself at all, or like something like that lessens the fee right away?
Well, we certainly presented to fee review a series of options, the 5 option, and that certainly could be considered. The advantage of doing them all at once is you're not taking amortization costs. One of those you can do it in an integrated fashion and save costs that way. But the historic time value of money on low interest now.
Okay. Speaker's time is ended. Looking for a motion. Sylvia?
Motion to extend speaker's time by 5 minutes.
Okay. All those in favor of extending speaker's time by 5 minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Division? It's opinion of the chair, it's division. Okay, I apologize. We'll call it one more time. I apologize. All those in favor of extending speaker's time by 5 minutes, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Nay. Ayes have it. 5 minutes. I apologize for that. Any further questions that would constitute this 5 minutes? Or anything else you guys have?
Weren't there questions on the floor?
I didn't see any questions on the floor. I mean, Keller first, and then, yeah. Or did you have a positive or a question?
A question.
Yeah, question to Keller.
Okay. So what is your opinion / concerns in regard to if we don't pass the resolution, then it going to be?
So I thought, actually what I preferred was something that I heard other people proposing, and that is to go to a petition to make a referendum. And I think that would alleviate some of my concern over the idea that we're the ones that are creating the opportunity for moral hazard to happen. I think that if the student body does that, then that would be more appropriate than for us to create that situation.
To answer your question, from my opinion, would be that the same people vote in elections every year. And what's concerning about that to me is that by the end of you vote for your friends and then you close out. And that is not uncommon for the majority of people that are voting. So to me, they're going to vote, $50 fee that starts in 2020. Okay, I graduate next year. I graduate this year. I don't think that they're going to put enough thought, and I appreciate the fact that these outreach plans for both of the answers were really well thought out and really will be targeting as much of the audience as they can. But, we all know we table and how many people really honestly listen. So I think that by sending it to fee review, that is a better option. And I think that they need to explore phases again. And I think that doing $100 per year for students that you don't know that are still in high school, really in middle school, elementary school, this is going to go on for a while.
Question over there. I can't tell if that was a negative speech from Constanza or your question. Your question over there.
Is it possible that next year this could come up to peer review and they could just accept it without any form of referendum being placed on the table? / would it be possible for this exec board, though I think it's unlikely to do the same thing in a week or two?
Oh.
So peer review is in last week of February. So that can make it go ahead and approve it. Or peer review is saying that process is often, or they can just
Can I add something really quickly? Just on top of that, I would hope that the people that we have elected to fee review would be making a choice that would be representative of the next students for the next 30 years. And if it weren't, I think that we would all feel really uncomfortable with that. And yeah, that's all I got.
Point of information, Gabby, you might want to elaborate on this, but fee review is representatives from each standing committee in addition to like 2 representatives from each standing committee, and that's it. So no more than 10 people. That's just, Gabby, your question?
So when you're saying that you think that traditionally student senate elections have a similar turnout of people that vote, do you think that a separate election separating from the spring election would be better or worse?
Yeah, I think that the only thing that I would have a hard time with that would be is that you're asking for 10% of voter turnout, and we're already struggling to get 10% of voter turnout on student senate elections. I would say that I think that it would be better. I'm not struggling to get 10%. I'm sorry. Yes, but I think that you would have more awareness and more the people that would be voting would be more educated on the matter than the people that are voting and just for their friends. So yeah, I think that would be an interesting avenue to explore, but that's not really what's being presented.
Okay, speaker's time has elapsed. I'm looking for a motion. Looking for a motion to extend. There's no questions on the floor. Looking for a motion to extend speaker's time or probably what? Let's move into positive speeches. We have those. All those in favor of moving into positive speeches, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? I didn't. Here. Trina, here's what we can do.
Can I start?
The first positive speech was from Brittany. She's being joined by Timon, and then we also have one from Chance. Anyone else who has a positive speech, you're welcome to join up here, or if you determine it with Chance, or go by yourself. So, in the interest of time, I'll give you guys 3 minutes to start with this. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, for those who don't know me, my name is Brittany Oleniach. I am a graduate senator, and I would just like to say that we are not voting on the $50 a semester. We're voting on just asking the question to our students. I sat on fee last year, and we felt uncomfortable that 10 people make the decision for 27,000 people who are students here and who may or may not use the student union. So we want to put this question on the ballot, asking them, do they want, is this, just to have them consider the $50 and if they would agree to it in few years. As for the future generations of KU students paying for this, yes, that's how fee works though. We make fees and then we make fees for 10, 15, 30 years down the road that the students have to pay. That's unfortunately how the fee review process works. In addition, the future students will be paying for this beautiful future building that they'll be able to utilize. Okay. You lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Yes, go.
Okay, so I have 2 points here. My first point is that, like Brittany kind of touched on, probably pretty much all of us use the rec. None of us paid a $50 fee or any type of fee this high to use the rec, but the rec got constructed because people looked forward and said, we need buildings. We can't have a university with no buildings. And so if we just decide for the rest of forever that we are not going to pass any fees that we ourselves do not pay, there will be no buildings at KU that we fund. So rec centers, unions, all of those things that we fund, there won't be for future generations. So in 30 years when you want to bring your kids back or whatever, there's not going to be this stuff here if students don't fund it. My other point is that I'm a little offended by what some people think of our student body, that they think that our student body in these elections are good enough to elect all of us, but not good enough to consider fees.
Hey, decorum.
Of course not.
Decorum.
But senators are elected in the student senate election, and the 21% of voter turnout is good enough to elect these student senators, but not good enough to decide rules that affect them. I find that a little offensive.
Speaker's time has elapsed. Looking for a motion. Marcus? All those in favor of extending speaker's time by 5 minutes on this speech, say aye. All those opposed, say nay. George?
Got one more point, speaking about voter turnout. So, as Chance has mentioned, there's going to be a lot of outreach from the union telling students that this question will be on the ballot. Don't you think that's going to want students, don't you think students will want to vote in student elections then? Just throwing that out there.
Okay, I think Trinity has a negative speech. Right, so as a student, I think that the $50 fee would be a terrible idea. But that's just my bias showing. At the end of the year last year, we fought over a single dollar for UDK. I mean, that took forever, and it was a very important issue to all of us, and we were fighting tooth and nail over it, and it was $1, and this is 50. But yet, this is my positive speech, so I'm talking about, as a student senator, I do think that the student body should have the right, completely and utterly, to be able to decide this issue. Because, as I asked in my question earlier, I was talking about, I think I'm coming around on this, because if we don't pass the referendum, this just goes back right to fee. And that's 10 people then deciding on $50. A $50 fee review or not, and they don't know, they don't have a way to gauge, all of the students on campus and what they think of the issue. And so I think that absolutely this should go to a referendum, but I also think it should be separate from the general student senate election. Like, absolutely 100%. This should be a separate thing, because I'm not going to talk about elections. I've talked about that a lot last year. But, yes, the referendum for the $50 fee should absolutely be a separate thing, and we should have a lot of outreach on it regardless.
Okay, a couple of facts to be considered. One, our vote here, the people that do vote, does not represent the student body, and that's been clear. There's research on it, the demographics, so forth, so forth. So for people to keep referencing the student vote is, honestly, not an accurate depiction of what goes on in this campus, because everyone knows the 21% is highly privileged and highly Greek that does turn out to vote on this campus. So that is definitely a point of information. Secondly, the thought that there would be no buildings on the campus at KU is absolutely ridiculous. And also, you can decide a fee for the next 10 years, but every year the fee changes. Every year we decide where the student fee goes. It is never set. It changes based on leadership. It changes on the composition of this room. So to think that we are just needing to make a decision now, or this is going to be the end of the world and the end of the University of Kansas, is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm uncomfortable, before I heard the previous speeches, it's coming up here to speak that I'm uncomfortable for students taking on these costs when the institution has already started shifting costs to students that it cannot pay themselves because we're in a budget crisis. And I feel like continuing development on this campus is a huge juxtaposition to the budget crisis everyone speaks. And so to sit in this room and expect this, the referendum will have a vote that's not representative of the student body. So the petition, and hopefully if it went to fee review, them 10 individuals, like someone previously said, would align with the student body that sits in this room.
Point of parliamentary order. Trinity, you want to clarify whether you were using your time. Oh no, you're within rules.
It was pretty clear. I don't think we need a clarification.
I think we do need a clarification because we don't. No, wait. Hey, decorum here. Let me finish this. I think we need a clarification because we don't want someone up here giving a positive speech and y'all are voting on it on the grounds that you think one person is perhaps giving a positive speech when they're using their time to in fact give it a negative one. So that's why we're talking about this right now.
Again, to clarify, that was
It's perfectly within rules what Trinity just did. Because I tried. She had a negative speech that I did not recognize, did not notice that she had one, and she went up and used her time. Completely within Robert's Rules and Order.
With that being said, to clarify to the student body, that was a negative speech.
We have a question from Jonathan. That's it. You're positive.
Brittany. Yes.
Oh, is there one more positive?
Hi.
Hey, wait. Point of order. We're out of order here. Also, time has elapsed. Looking for a motion. Jonathan. We have 3 questions on the floor. We have a question. We have a question from Jonathan. We have 2 questions from stands over there. 3 questions. Marcus, looking for a motion?
Motion to extend time by 10 minutes.
Looking for a motion. All those in favor of extending speaker's time by 10 minutes, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. Brittany is the current speech. She is the current speaker on this positive speech, and Timon and everyone up there, besides Trinity, are using their time along with her to support this positive speech within the 10 minutes. Those 4 people. Brittany, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Katie Merriweather, and I'm a graduate student senator. And this is a positive speech. So in the 70s, when the Union burned down, my father ran in and saved the artwork. And he ran in with his buddies because there wasn't a fire crew, and people were concerned. So he saved the art, and I think that shows the will of KU and of Jayhawks to save their union and to be there as a community. And so I think that the Jayhawks, KU student, or the student body, should decide if they want to pay for a union or not. I think it should go back to the students as well. And I don't think that we are in a position to decide, or, fee reviews in a position to decide that. So that's me.
All right. Defer the rest of my time to questions.
First question from Jonathan.
My question was.
Okay.
I sympathize with some of the positive speech.
Hey, decorum.
That 10 people should not be deciding, and so they sent it to us. How many people are sending? Maybe 100. So then we go from 0.04% to 0.4% of the population. I still think that maybe if we sent it out to the population, we had 1,000 people to decide through a petition for referendum. That might be a good compromise. And I'm wondering what your thoughts on that are.
So you're asking that we send out a petition to the students of whether or not we should pass a referendum. If they want a referendum. So it's a...
Yes, certainly.
So the whole point of I defer to Chance. Wait. Sure.
You can keep it brief if you'd like then. Either one. Yeah. I'm trying to stifle the debate, just trying to move a little bit.
We're not saying that they should use the process. We're saying they should have an option. So having a petition is just doing a referendum twice. And I don't think that is a necessary barrier to add on to this, because I really believe that passes the student instead of saying we as representatives can't give all our voices in this process. But we want you to have a voice, but we also should have representatives. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Whereas a petition is essentially saying we're going to have one referendum and then another.
Question, and then Ms. Stanza. Just Trinity. Who's the director? I'm trying here.
And just why I'm speaking to her first side, and I said that about protecting of the fire is that was the response of creating here and racism is going on this campus. So how it works, and that's showing
Okay. Point of order. Trinity is also using this time on behalf of a negative speech. So she continues to stay up here or reserve her time for later when the next negative speech comes up. The next question is from Constanza.
No.
Are we referring to a question?
Well, I guess I mean the question was directed at me. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I want to clarify why I want it. Why I would like it to be a separate referendum is because I think that the campaign, the type of campaign, the type of outreach that goes on during student senate elections is not necessarily the type of outreach that would reach a representative portion of the student body. I'll defer the rest of that answer to Chance.
Chance? Okay. Question from Maddie Carter. Was the speaker time to forgive? Okay. We have a motion from Melissa. All those in favor of calling the question on the bill say aye. All those opposed? It is the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it. It is properly moved to second to call the question on 2017-303, a resolution, an official order of the Student Senate to direct the Elections Commission to put forth a question or referendum. We will put this to quick vote. All those in favor, that will be a choice of A. Those opposed, B, C, abstaining. Kill me?
Two to nine. Yes. All right. So, Alyssa? All those in favor of untabling what bill?
2017 review of bill fund international support.
Please say aye. Opposed, please say nay. Abstaining, all right. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, we're going to be quick. So this was a bill that was heavily kind of vetted in finance. I'll let them talk just very briefly about organization and the line items. Should I pull? Okay, you guys can tell me why.
Here for international support. This organization was formed earlier this year. We do services for international students to give them emotional support. And we have proposers every day from 8 to 10. And like do counseling with us in their daily language. And today our bill comes in 2 parts. The first part is their company, and then the second part is this is the training that we want to have for our mentors, for them to switch what they have learned for counseling. Like this training is like through the this training is the training that we want to provide for our mentors, for them to change their counseling skill to match with American culture, and also match with their home culture. You guys have any? Both. Yeah.
So we asked someone, she...
Can you repeat the question, sorry? Who is providing? Oh, yeah. So we contact a trainer from, she is actually a junk lecturer for, let me see, DePaul University in Chicago and Loyola University of Chicago. So once international students come in, the school provides a cultural adjustment seminar for MBA students as well as like undergrad international students. She's the one who provides the seminar for the school. That's it.
So far we have peer mentors speaking native Chinese, like Chinese speakers, and we also have Spanish speakers. So those are the reason why we have them, like in the first place, because those are the biggest international student group we have on campus, which are Spanish speakers and also Chinese speakers. And we're looking forward to have more mentors coming for Arabic and other languages, Hindu as well. Yeah.
And with that, the bill passes. So next we'll move into Bill 2017-3044, resolution from the University of Kansas Student Senate to establish an ad hoc committee to collect data and direct proper resources for extending accommodations for religious minorities at the University of Kansas.
Oh, it is up there.
Hello, everybody. Could I ask for just 10 minutes total speaking time?
All those in favor of extending the speaker's time by 5 minutes, making their total speaking time with questions 10 minutes, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Abstaining. All right, you all have 10 minutes.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Chancellor Adams. I serve as your on-campus senator here. This bill came about, this resolution came about because I had a friend who invited me to go to a religious holiday, which was Eid. And the whole thing was that I had to miss class for it, and not only me, but them. But we went, and they told me that this holiday was like Christmas for them, and that they had to go between going to school or taking a test, or actually going to this holiday and spending their time with their family, their friends, and their community, and also serving, their God or how they worship. So I came together and got with Zoya to work on this, and the whole purpose of this is that we want to create an ad hoc committee to create a survey that will track religious minorities and address accommodations that are needed for creating religious holidays, and also reflection rooms. So basically, the whole purpose of the ad hoc committee, what we'll do is we'll try to, after we get like that, what we'll do is come back and present bills that recognize religious holidays, accommodations, and also education on faculty. For the sake of time, I'm just going to go.
Hi guys, my name is Zoya Khan, and I serve as the chair of the Multicultural Affairs Committee. So just to give a little bit context for what we're talking about. So we're specifically in this resolution addressing religious and cultural minorities who do not have sufficient access to accommodations in regards to holidays and reflection spaces on campus, like Chancellor said. And I'm going to share two testimonials from students who were not able to join us today. So the first one is from Intia Zuber, and she's our CCO co-director. After hearing about the initiative to pass a religious minority bill, I realized the importance of students and faculty sharing their experience, because it is sometimes hard for those part of a majority to relate, even if they want to. I have never been in an educational space that let school off for my religious holiday. As a Muslim, unless it magically, by coincidence, fell under an academic break. It is something that I have gotten used to. And as a Muslim growing up in America, I have now realized that it is not something I should have to be used to. While growing up, it was easy to request makeup work and even tests if they fell on the day of a religious holiday. But in the current university system, it becomes a whole ordeal of its own. Most of the Muslim friends I know do not even bother asking for time off from the professors because of the complicated process and the risk of being a bother to the professor. The thought of, I forgot it was Eid, has passed through my mind far too many times since coming to KU. The spirit of Eid is really to be surrounded by friends and family. And while there is Eid prayer and other fun events planned by the Muslim Student Association in Lawrence, it can be easily inaccessible to students when there are classes and exams to study for. Attending and feeling guilty about not being able to do schoolwork defeats the point of celebrating with the community as well. Having Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha recognized by the school would be such a relief, not only for me, but for the Muslim Jihad community. Sending out a survey to assess the needs of Muslims as well as other religious minorities and cultural identities is an imperative first step. And the second testimonial I will share is from a Jewish student on campus who wants to remain anonymous. As a Jewish person, I have had quite a few experiences where my religious obligations conflict with my coursework. The holiest days for Jewish people are Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We spend the entire day of these holidays in service. On Yom Kippur, aside from spending the day in service, we also fast from sundown to sundown. For those of us who observe the holidays, it is typically a tradition to skip the days of class if they fall, in order to pray and fast. This year, one of my classes had a midterm on Yom Kippur. This type of scheduling poses a problem. We must either choose coursework or religion. I was lucky enough that my professor allowed me to take my midterm on a different day. However, the fact that there are no rules preventing professors from scheduling exams on days like this leads me to feel as though I must choose my studies or my religion. In other words, it feels as though the school is telling me I cannot have both. I recognize that there may even be students with less understanding professors who did not have to choose between observing the holiest day of the year or taking an exam. If exams are not scheduled on Yom Kippur, there still may be a problem. We may miss participation points or miss out on a daily quiz or pop quiz, which we cannot make up. This year, I completely skipped both Rosh Hashanah, which is a two-day holiday, or both days of Rosh Hashanah, which is a two-day holiday. I did not go to service, and I did not get to pray on either day. Instead, I went to school because I felt that I could not miss out on those points, and I felt that I would miss too many lectures. To be completely honest, I feel guilty for skipping one of the two holiest days of the year just to make sure I did not miss out on some points. I normally look forward to Rosh Hashanah because it is a chance to ask for forgiveness, apologize, and start fresh. And I did not get to do that this year because I chose my coursework over my religion. If there are rules regarding accommodations, which I am aware, I do not think that they are communicated to students well. So as you can see from these two testimonials, and these are only two students who have these experiences, and it's not representational of every student on this campus. So that's why we feel it is very important that we are able to survey students and get their experiences. Because we do not want to be acting on behalf of students unless we are able to advocate for them fully by assessing their needs. And so, again, the big picture is to first get this, empirical evidence, get experiences, more information by creating an ad hoc committee. But the big picture is to have the university recognize these religious holidays and to provide spaces on campus for people to practice their religious obligations and to provide sufficient access to accommodations in order for students to feel as though this campus is also theirs.
Chance and Zoya, they did all the heavy lifting, and they assessed, they determined that there was a need on this campus. When students can't exercise their religion freely without having to relinquish some of their class obligations. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you. We appreciate it. But I guess we'll just go through a couple of the details. Basically, this bill wants to, it's a resolution that calls for kind of a critical examination of how a professor and a student communicate when it comes to accommodations. And like this testimonial, mentioned oftentimes there's not enough information. So we want to look at how this is received. And I'll move on to Connor in a second, but there was a little bit of an issue in Rights Committee. A few people thought that some of the language was absolutist in the sense that the whereas clauses, we say the University of Kansas does not recognize major holidays celebrated by religious minorities outside of Christianity and or other denominations that the university privileges or deems or others. Basically, this is more so, it's implied that when there's an accommodation that's not granted, that it might be on the grounds that it's just minority type of thing. And I think the nature of a resolution is to often, I don't want to say hyperbole, but like not hyperbolic speech does often elevate, the magnitude, the weight of certain things. And I don't think that any sort of element regarding absolutist language in this one clause should diminish the spirit of this bill. So.
How many more minutes do we have? Let's just go over here. 30 seconds. Can I just get an extension for like 2 minutes?
There's. Okay. There's also one negative speech and three questions on the floor if we'd like to extend the speaker's time in this question. Maddie? Perfect. All right. All those in favor of extending the speaker's time by 5 minutes, say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Abstaining? All right.
Okay, thank you everyone. And please, I know it's really late on tonight, but this is really important and last thing on our agenda tonight. So, I just want to say thank you again to Chancellor and Zoya for working so hard on this. Danny and I were happy to help, even though we are obviously two white men who had no experiences in terms of really kind of any oppression or anything, and really like sharing ourselves here. It's true. But I mean, this really came to light to me because I didn't understand that this was a thing. And I think Chancellor put it best to me when he said, imagine Eid for Muslims is like Christmas. Can you imagine having to choose between classwork and going to Christmas? Could you imagine having to choose that? And let's not forget that it's not just students who are facing this, faculty and staff. Think of your GTAs, your GRAs, your Arabic professors, your Jewish professors, anybody like that, any other minority, Hindus, anything. And they have to choose between, they only give one discretionary day a year, and they have to go through a mile of work to get it through KU. Anyway, it's just ridiculous that anyone has to choose between their job, their schoolwork, anything like that, and they can't spend time with their family, and friends, and mostly, experience their religion. So, and just remember tonight that this is just the first step. This is not anything too radical. All we are doing is create right now. All you're doing is creating an ad hoc committee to get more information and data on a problem that you just heard Zoya reading the testimonials. This is a problem, and we need more information so we best know how to address it from here on.
I do understand the concern. In higher ed, we often say, we're just gonna, create an ad hoc because we have a with the students. But I think as we found this year, when we create ad hoc committees, whether that be funding, or that kind of be the loosely one we do with equitable elections, we've got a lot done at the end. So that's just that. And open up.
The first question goes to Sophie.
For students with these minority religions. So is that regardless of
So the intent of this is to actually survey those who follow in the minority religions that we consider. And minority religions for those who are confused is anything but Christianity. So that's just to make it kind of clear. In America. Yes. So. Yes. So I'm just to kind of clarify that. So essentially, yes, and that's the whole intent. We want to serve that group here. That does not mean we're not serving all students here on campus because that's a part of students here at the university. So if
all right, Maddie.
Yeah, we did quite a lot of research before we wrote this resolution. And so thank you for bringing that up. That is something that we are aware of. The problem that we're facing is not that there is a sentence in student codes, but rather the accessibility to accommodations. Because as the students said, they know they can ask for permission, but there's so much deterrence. They feel intimidated by professors, don't feel comfortable doing so. And we want to make sure we're assessing that and making sure that what we have in place is it sufficient. So that's what we're hoping to achieve by creating this ad hoc committee.
I think like it says lines up, we want these accommodations more direct, focused how manner. So there's education, faculty members, and students as to when you first into class first day on August 6th, if you have religious holiday in 4 weeks, you're made aware by your professor that you need to contact them now as opposed to not having all the knowledge 3 days or religious observance. You're not able to reap the benefits of the accommodation to not knowing time constraints.
Right, and to add on to that a little bit, the only thing that parents are given at the beginning of the year is I think it's like two sentences saying that if your student needs an accommodation for a religious holiday, you speak to your professor at the beginning of the semester. And the issue with that is that there are different religions that follow lunar calendar, and you may not know when the holiday falls until a few weeks before that. So again, this is an opportunity for us to reassess how accessible these accommodations are and the language that we use and what we present to parents, students, and professors.
With that, the speaker's time has expired with one negative speech on the floor. Adam, do you have a motion? Okay. So all those in favor of moving to negative speech with one question still on the floor, say aye. All those opposed say nay. Division, it'll be a clicker vote. All those in favor of moving to the negative speech by Amy, one question left on the floor, press A. Opposed, B. Abstaining, C. Just one second. It's open now. All right. Vote 55-38 to 5. We'll go into Amy's negative speech.
I'm pulling up. I'm absolutely in favor of the spirit of it. I'm just here to propose a couple of amendments in order to clean up what I see as some problematic language. Okay. This is the right one. Okay. So the first thing I want to change is whereas it starts on number 25, it says whereas the University of Kansas does not recognize holidays celebrated by religious minorities outside Christianity and other denominations. Blah blah blah. So I want to strike this and say instead that students belonging to religious minorities have a feeling that the university privileges Christianity and other religions over their own. Here this is directly censoring the experiences that led to this bill. So I think that instead of because I think it's harder to explain that the university doesn't recognize it because there are policies in place that say people are having experience where they're not being validated, where they feel like they're being put down for their religion. I feel like that's the more important part is what people are feeling because that's what we're trying to collect more data on so that we can adapt the policies accordingly. So I think that we should censor that. And then same thing with the next whereas clauses here. Oh, I meant to add prohibitively there. So how do I edit this? So right here. So with prohibitively restrictive expectations. So in addition to what you brought up with the exams, and so I understand that. Okay, so the policy for exams for students is if you have a religious holiday that falls in an exam, you're supposed to tell the professor at the beginning of the semester. And I recognize it falls on the lunar calendar year. However, there's also a policy in there that says that if you have an attendance requirement for the class that you're not going
That one doesn't have the provision about the beginning of the semester. So at any point in the semester, when you know when your holiday is, you go to the professor and they're not allowed to do anything against you. And so these policies are in place. I agree that. So I'm an instructor myself. I had to look these policies up when it came to me that when students came to me and said, hey, I need to excuse for this. I found this information out for myself. And no, my department didn't tell me about it. So there's definitely a problem with disseminating these policies to students and to instructors, but they do exist. It's just a problem of not enforcing them sufficiently, or some do need to be adapted. It's like the discretionary holiday. You just have to get supervisors like a mile of paperwork, but there should probably be more than one discretionary day for holidays that are more than one day. So I'm not saying that we should adapt these. I'm saying that we should just ease the language on saying these things don't exist presently.
So I support these amendments. My concern was with 25 through 27. And the reason is I am a religious minority myself. I'm not anti-Christian. I'm pro these other things. I'm pro accommodating religious minorities. And when I read 25 through 27, while I understand that is truthful and factual, some people's the way some people study, it's not truthful and factual to everybody. And to me, it reads offensive, and it makes this bill seem anti-Christian rather than pro accommodation.
Yeah, ad hoc committees are. Just as a point of order, ad hoc committees are appointed by the student body president. So that would be under Stefan. All right, next question is Sophia. Or Sophie, sorry. Happens every time.
So along with the same thought that where you changed it in line 99 and say the religion, Christianity, and religion their own. I feel like that's along the same lines of what happened in 35. So did you change that, or we amended to say that way feeling overlooked rather than because it's not necessarily that. I think I'm understanding Christianity's privilege or prioritize their holidays not recognized here. Okay. So I'm saying that I have issues. So with your language, these not that. So if you'd be okay with that, I guess. Well, just like moving that versus religious Christianity, because what they're reporting is that their religion not being recognized, not necessarily. From I understand that.
If it's factual that they were being Christianity.
With that, the speaker's time has expired. So can I look for a motion to complete this question with two questions on the floor? What? Yes. So all those in favor of extending the speaker's time by finishing Sophie's question and two additional questions, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Abstaining. Right. Yeah.
So because if you want to spirit of your bill, I would just I guess the question is that the reports are that Christianity is privileged or prioritized over their religion other than not their religious being not recognized.
So we want to ensure that tone is that it's religious minority against community. Right. So this is based on the report that religious minorities don't feel that there are conversations. So I don't know. I would say this language representation. Right. Initial. Okay. Sounds like.
Yeah, because as I read that, it was that I read non-factual. Somebody came and said Christianity is the privilege over us. That's not. You understand the intent of my question?
Yeah. As far as the terms are big as far as like court healing. Because again, the language of their initially just stated facts, the matter of fact, and only Christian holidays recognized. So again, it's not about wording in a way, but rather that the matter of fact that other religions aren't recognized.
Yeah. I think that like saying really, it kind of like the whole like nature of itself. So that was fact. Saying that like I understand like privilege and being come off like that, but we can probably find another word that's case issue. But say feeling is because we're talking back. And if you look at verse calendar, it's just coincidental. I mean, it just happens that Christmas, Easter all happen around.
Easter is not on
It's not on this, but it just so happens that we're all during time.
And also Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is yeah, so I don't want anybody like they're attacking me. I'm a Christian. I don't want nobody feel like that. I love
All right. We're moving into the next question, which is Trinity's question. Granted, brief.
Yeah. The fact that you would say they may feel little or mind experience marginalized people that was systemic leading to just near the fact that you would say that they will live anti-Christian don't races don't exist. Right. They don't exist. But into my question, why won't we from here and you have authority to change this?
Okay. So let me address the first part first. I think. So what I was trying to do here by saying feeling was to center those voices. I knew that. Okay. So I was aware. I have friends who are religious minorities at this university who have had these issues. I have students who are religious minorities who come to me for these accommodations. I'm fully aware, and I talked to Zoya and others before this bill about this. I knew that people had these experiences. I was trying to, by saying that they feel this, express that this was a concern of students that they had brought. I was centering their voices. I was trying to elevate their experience through this language. That was the explicit intent. If that's not the way that it's being interpreted, then notice that that's at least what I was attempting to do.
I think a direct answer.
Right. So I think that clarifying what the specific issues are, so the fact that people have reported this, like as you said in your speech, I was trying to capture that here, and so I think that better guide the ad hoc committee in what they should be looking for. So it may not talk about the function, but I think it better sets their agenda as to what they're trying to rectify.
Stefan? There's no more questions on the floor. Like chance? I thought he was making a motion. Started to make a motion. We had previously voted to approve two questions when we finished those two questions. Those two questions were asked by Trinity and Zoya. I thought I was recognizing a motion from Stefan, but it was a question. There's no questions left on the floor. So the next motion I saw was chances. Chance. All those in favor of calling question on the amendment of the language changes proposed by Amy, please say aye. All those opposed? Abstaining? All right. It's been properly moved and seconded, so we'll do a clicker vote on the amendments for this bill. All those in favor of the amendment and the negative speech, please press A. Opposed, B. Abstaining, C. It's loading. It'll be open in a second. Please be patient. All right, that amendment passed 58-2026-10. Victoria? All those in favor of calling a question on the bill, please say aye. As amended, sorry. All those opposed, please say nay. Abstaining? All right, it's been properly moved to call the question on Bill 2017-3004 as amended. All those in favor, please press A. Opposed, B. Abstaining, C. All right, and with that, the bill passes. Are there any announcements? Sophia? Yeah. Call it. Yep. So 2/3 would be 66.6% for the referendum. And abstentions don't count, so that would be, yes. Can you do the math without the abstention? Sorry. Yeah. While we're doing that, are there any announcements? Marcus? They do count? So including abstentions, it was 69%, and then without abstentions, it was 76%. So either way, it passes. Marcus's announcement. Woo. We have not adjourned yet. Please sit down. That's all. The next announcement is from Sansa. Brittany? Josh, Jason, and then Kat. Kat. And then graduate pharmacy law students say Amy. Chance. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstaining.